Jai Shriman Narayan. Jai Shriman Narayan. Jai Shriman Narayan. I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagat Guru Sudarshan Acharya Ji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I pay my obeisances to the Purva Acharyas. And I pay my obeisances to the 12 avatars of the Sri Ramanuj Sampradaya. I welcome all of you to our Sunday Satsang. This Satsang will fit in with the three modes of material nature. Unfortunately, I would not be able to fit in part 3 of creation, but I'm sure that the next available Satsang on Thursday will continue with creation. So I have been taking, as last week Jay said that a decided case is, we didn't have Jessica last week, so Jay was our sitting attorney. And when we said what a decided case was, what was it, Jay?
One is tried and tested.
Yes, a law that is tried, tested, and judgment has been given. So that is a decided case that is used in subsequent judgments and trials. Is that not right, Jessica? Okay. So I take my precedence from previous gurus, previous acharyas, and you see I pay my obeisances to all the acharyas. And when I cannot find an adequate precedent, then I take it from the Lord Himself. And how He enacted when He was on this earth. And this is the reason why He came down to earth and why He comes down to earth during the 3 yugas. So Lord Shri Krishna Himself was here at the end of Dwapara Yuga, and He Himself was accused of a precious stone being stolen. When it was lost, He was accused because He made an inquiry on that precious stone. So what Lord Shri Krishna did, I don't want to go too much into that story. He investigated the entire story. He found the actual culprit. He gave the culprit a terrible hiding over 20 days and 20 nights. And he came back to the village. And he brought all the villagers together. And he revealed his investigation. And he proved himself innocent. So I have been doing this for the past 6 years. For the first 2 years, I was playing the role of Father Christmas. First 2 years, I was playing the role of Father Christmas. What does Father Christmas do? 2 rishis. My rishis are sitting one behind the other. Maharishi and Rishi behind him. Alright? Any of the rishis. When I ask a rishi, both rishis can answer. What is the role of Father Christmas? Rishi square. Handouts. So when the Guru was handing out indiscriminately, without any rules and without any regulations. Pockets were being full, wallets were being full, everything was happening. The Guru was
Great.
the greatest, even greater than God, alright? Well, I got posts to verify what I'm saying. And thank God for Facebook. Thank God for Facebook. I must meet the creators of Facebook, because they have salvaged this organization time and time and time and time again. If I want any evidence, Jessica, I just go back to Facebook, because this satsang is a reality satsang. This satsang is a reality satsang. Everything happens in real time. and it is broadcast to the world in real time. And people come up here and give testimonies in real time. And then, when they go in Tamogun, they forget real time evidence. And Facebook calls it nicely, timeline. Jessica, the truth can always be found in timeline. Not Facebook's timeline, but God's timeline. Is it not? But a lie has no timeline. A lie cannot be fixed in a particular timeline. The truth lives in every second of every minute. A lie has no place to base itself, because a lie keeps changing. Because truth is firmly established. Because truth is firmly established, it resides in time. Because time is a manifestation of Lord Sriman. No. Time is one of the energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, called Kala. And the truth resides in time. And coincidentally, time is found on Facebook's timeline. Time is found on Facebook's timeline. So we have whatever happens here is recorded by Lord Sriman Narayan, who is residing in your soul. It's called a Narayan book. And then externally we got Facebook. The Narayan book is hard to source. But Facebook, look, we got a laptop, they will source out a whole lot of evidence today. We will source out a whole lot of evidence and we'll verify it. Jessica is here. Alright? So you see, Jessica, Lord Narayan in your soul brought you to the satsang today to verify legal aspects of what I am saying. Okay? Any questions so far? Is this a reality? Are you feeling good? Are you feeling good? Because the Guru do not care about people's opinions. Guru only cares about the Sampradaya's opinion. And for me to keep my Sampradaya and myself pristine, then we do our washing in public. We do our washing in public. Because all the good things we show the public, don't we? Then we also need to show the public the bad things to remain in the absolute truth. So timelessly, people have stated that what kind of a guru this is. Any accusation, whether this big or whether that big, I let it happen here on Facebook Live. And people feel that a saint or a guru, it is very distasteful for a spiritual head or a spiritual leader to be washing his clothes in public. Because there are many institutions that take the dirty clothes and hide it under the carpet in the public, and in one room somewhere quietly they discuss events. I have been known not to care. I have been known not to care. The Acharya Shyam Ramanuj Foundation is a public entity. It is a public entity and the public has a right to know the good and the bad. You think that's right, seated here? All of you think that's right? We should cleanse ourselves along the way. We should cleanse ourselves along the way. So I'm going to cut an entire long story short because we don't want to give bad people a lot of airtime on a good program. You'll all agree? We don't want to give bad people whole lot of airtime on a good program. You agree, Jessica? Okay. So, this property was initiated, the donation of this property was initiated by the father of the purported purchaser of this property. His name is Panis Nair. I'll read out his proper names just now. It was donated on Maha Shiva Ratri. Maha Shiva Ratri. Mr. Nair asked me to identify. I only met Mr. Nair on this day. I knew his three brothers from the Kampara Holdings, Kampara Conference Center. These brothers are well-known businessmen in South Africa. I knew three of them. This last brother I met on this day, Maha Shivratri. And he asked me to identify a bay leaf tree on his property. And it was quite late. And I was getting ready for Shivaratri on that day. I was satsang on Shivaratri, and I think it was about 5:30, and I needed to go home and change. But he forcefully took me. He said it's just down the road, Spencer Road. And I identified that bay leaf tree for him. And in a discussion, he asked me, how was your day today? And I said that Nirvasan Pillai or Vasudeva Ramanuj Das and myself have just come back from the Mobeni Heights Sri Narayan Temple in Mobeni Heights. You know of the temple, Jessica? This temple was being sold to a church. This temple was being sold to a church. You remember that time, Jessica? And I decided as a devotee of Lord Narayan that because of the history of the temple being a Sri Narayan temple, then I rather buy this temple, notwithstanding the cost, instead of it getting sold to a church. So I came out of negotiations on that day with Vasan, with certain executive members of the temple. And I explained this to Mr. Spanis Nair. And Spanis Nair said, don't purchase that temple, I have a place for you. Then he took me to 20 Barton Place and he showed me another property and he asked me to bless his property. I blessed his property and I thought he was going to leave me at Kampara so I could jump in my car and go home and change for Shivaratri. But he brought me to the top of this property. He made me stand on the property and he asked me to look down. I looked down and he said, can you see that pink dwelling? And I said, yes, that is, I can see that pink dwelling. He asked me, do you want that property to build your ashram? I said, thank you very much, we accept. Right here in Reservoir. And we went back. We had satsang that night on the 13th of February, Mahashivratri, well attended, hall full. Mr. Spanis Nair, his brother Cyril Nair garlanded me in the presence of his other brother Logan Nair, and Spanis Nair was present. And Spanis Nair walked me up the stairs. You know, you take your guru up. Now Spanis is disabled, he walks with crutches. those of you that have seen him. So with these crutches, he walked me up into the hall on 13th of February. 20th of February, him and his wife attended. Him and his wife attended the satsang. We feed 60 children, disadvantaged children. I call them my angels for the past 4 years in a school in Newlands. Okay? And from the time this institution took over these children, they started passing miraculously. One of them was accepted in the Oprah Winfrey School of Academy, and all started coming out first, second, and third, either academically or in sport. These were malnourished children. We started nourishing them with breakfast, lunch, and I used to cook and feed them myself. These are my darlings. I call them my angels. Okay? And I let, for the sake of the angels, I let over half of my devotees out of my satsang because they were racist. They wanted to know, why does the Acharya not care for our kind? They used the word our kind. And my organization split in two. And I released them. Because there's no our kind and their kind in Sri Narayan Dham. All is of one kind. Okay? I released them. So Spanish and his wife brought 2 crates of bread on the 20th of February, and in that satsang, Spanish got up and told the entire hall that this property is now donated to the Acharya Shyam Ramanuj Foundation. Okay? Then Vasudeva Ramanuj Das, who is not here, but he was here on Thursday, and you'll remember on Thursday, we were on solar power, and the hall was dark, and somehow he slipped in and I couldn't. And when I saw him, I said, Vasan, you here? Who laughed? Lizwe laughed very loud, and Lizwe is employed by, and is Lizwe here today? He's been punished. He has to work because you don't laugh at the boss. Okay? So Vasan, myself, Mataji, went and met Mr. and Mrs. Spanish at the residence, and the very first thing Vasan stated was, we do not accept donations because the donor, after we prepare the land, then the donor will change their mind. The donor will, this land, when we discovered it on Tuesday, I think Tuesday was Mahashivratri. On Wednesday I landed here, and on Wednesday when I walked down, you could not see this house. This entire place was full of trees. We have videos and photographs, thanks to Facebook, because we do everything on Facebook. Thank you, creators of Facebook, and you'll realize why. And all of you that's on Facebook, after this program, Amita, thank Facebook for saving Sri Narayan Dham. Thank Facebook for saving an entire ashram. Alright? So, whatever we do, step by step, stage by stage, we post it on Facebook. And we got a heading, Sri Narayan Dham in the making. We have a special page, Sri Narayan Dham ASRF, where all our progress to this ashram we post on the same day that we photograph. There are 3 sewer points in this place. One is by the Goshala, one is in front of my kutir, and one is next to the driveway. All 3 sewer points were flooding. Feces for I don't know how many years. There was a canopy of trees and bush in this place. That smell and stink was trapped in this atmosphere. Imagine in this heat. It's March now, 1 month before this. Coming down. 3 sewer points flooded. What do you think was the condition of this place? Snakes, rats, all types. This was the filthiest, the biggest I saw in Reservoir. This was a haven for criminals when they used to break into all these houses on this end. And when they were being chased, they should run down here. And from here they used to find their way. Okay? I have evidence of the municipality to and fro emails for the municipality to come out and sort and clean these 3 sewer points. You understand? So if you vision this property, Jai Bhai, as I'm describing it to you, what does it tell you of the status of this property relative to the owner of the property?
Okay.
No care? Closer to abandoned. Abandoned. Because if trees could grow higher than this building, then that means this property was abandoned. Abandoned. Then we have videos, which you will see just now, and earth moving equipment to make this driveway. My background is civil engineering. I have many backgrounds. Jessica? One of them is civil engineering. So when we informed Mr. Nair that we do not take donation, we purchase, we buy. We are not beggars. We are not beggars. We are also not rogues. Rogues don't buy. Rogues steal. Rogues steal. We inform Mr. Nair we are not rogues, neither are we beggars. We would like to buy the property. And he said, no guru. And his wife said, no guru. His wife, no guru. This property is a liability to us. We have tried to give it for free to 6 other entities. They did not take it because constructing the access to this property is in the hundreds of thousands. So they couldn't sell this property because it had no access from the road to here. They couldn't sell it. They couldn't even give it for free. My 2 rishis, Rishi 1 and Rishi 2. What are your thoughts at this point? Kimlen, what you thinking? This man, Mr. Spanners Nair, his dad and his mum were saintly people in Clare Estate. Were they not, Dana? Boya? You had a relationship with the Spanish dad? You were there with him personally. What do you think of Spanish dad? A saint. If Spanish and his wife swore on their dad that the dad taught them, boya, once you make a commitment, stick to it. There's boya said it. Was this the dad's? You knew the dad like this?
He was my friend.
He was boya's friend.
That time we didn't have no car, we used to take a bus. He would tell me to go to service. He loved me singing. He used to come with me everywhere.
Okay, all right. Witnesses are falling into place, boya. Case is running good, Kimlin. You enjoying it? Your wife, you enjoying it like a soapy? You didn't. You prepared for satsang, and yeah, you get in a suspense, drama, soapy, everything in one. Okay. Knowing the three brothers, the three other brothers of Spanish. I did not know the last brother. I did not meet the last brother. I only met Spanish in February. But I knew the other three brothers for the past 2 years because I was having satsang regularly in Kampara Conference Center for 2 years. These brothers' characters are impeccable. They are like their dad. They are a guaranteed check. And I took Spanish to be a guaranteed check, evolving from the character of his brothers, because I had no time to relate. I said, if the father was saintly, these three brothers are saintly, then Spanish must be saintly. All right? Based on taking an oath on the saintly parents, both Spanish and his wife, I accepted the donation. Look at my background. I went to university, I educated myself to make a living. And in my days it was hard to go to university. I remember the 6,000 my mother gave me. And my mother worked in a factory. In a clothing factory. She was an ordinary missionist. An ordinary missionist. But from the day I went to school, I was in the first three, and my mother always knew her son is going to do well somewhere, and she saved her money so that I could put my foot in university. I was the first grandson from my mom's family to put foot in university. I'm talking in the 80s, Jessica. And it was difficult. I remember she gave me the 6,000 and she bought me my first car to go to university. Guess what? Jay. Ford, 3-liter, big 6. Okay? So we worked and we studied to buy our slice of bread. We worked. We studied, then we went to work. We worked hard. Sweat poured out of us to earn our money. We grew our children up with hard work, sweat and tears. We never take the easy way out. So I became a policeman. I became a businessman. And I became a politician, Jessica. Right? In fact, she believes she's still stuck in politics because of me, somehow, Jessica. So, look at, you think with this background, Kimlan. I educated myself. I was a policeman, businessman, politician. You think I would willy-nilly accept this donation unless one day I'll be able to back it up? Jessica, I won't take it just like that if I won't be able to back it up. So this property was purported to be bought by his daughter Yogi Naya. And I met the daughter. I met the daughter. I offered the daughter the purchase or the purported purchase price of the sales and purchase agreement that she showed me, which was 50,000 then, and another 50,000 rand she would be owing on rates and tax if the sale is legitimate. That document that she showed me, if that was legitimate, because this property is still in the estate of the father of the seller. This property is still in the estate of the father of the seller. At that point in time, I had no reason to believe anything else, because I know the Naya brothers, I know the father, I know the reputation of the father of the Naya brothers, and now the daughter shows me a purchase and sales agreement, and in that agreement there is an addendum attached, and in that addendum it is stated that the late Yogi Naya may build, extend, and what's the word? Build, extend, develop the property. So, based on the addendum, I have developed this property to this stage, because she gave me authority to. She donated the land to me, and she told me, Guru, you may build the ashram, because there is a legal stipulation in my purchase agreement where I can build. Because this property is a liability to me, I am giving it to you, but the legalities pertaining the sales and purchase agreement in terms of development, you may develop. Is it normal? What would you do? Any one of you? Shanti, what you'll do? If you see the agreement, will you develop? Yes. So I developed this property and brought it to this stage, and I continue developing this property. Tomorrow we will continue working on the property and development. Okay? Then, when I needed to connect lights and water, only the executor can give us a letter, because now tenants cannot connect lights and water on their own. The regulation in the municipality has changed. Those years, if you're a tenant, you can connect lights and water. So, in tracing the original, the executor, when I phoned him, and I told him that I want to connect lights and water, he said that this sale and agreement, this purchase and sale agreement is not valid. It happened in 2008, and I am phoning him in 2018. Along the way, this purchase and sales agreement dropped off. So I went back to Yogi Naya and informed her that there is now a dispute. But whilst I was in conversation with the executor, I remember on that day these windows were coming. Were being delivered to the property, and I asked him, the windows going to be delivered to the property, must I now cancel? And he said, no, you carry on and connect to my attorney. Okay. So ultimately I connected to his attorney, then I connected back to Yogi Naya, and we had another meeting. And in this meeting, I once again offered Yogi Naya the full price, and at that time the value of this property was 500,000. And we also told Yogi Naya, why do you want to go to court? You have two young kids, 7 and 8 years. Let me pay the 500,000 directly, because this land is already donated. You understand? The land is already donated. Why you want to go through all that hassles? Let me pay the 500,000. And she started crying and she said, no, my grandfather taught us, and she was very, very close to the grandfather, and this is why they are buried there in the same grave as the grandfather. All right? She was very close to the grandfather, and she stated that it does not matter which way, ultimately I will make sure that this land is transferred to the Acharya, Shyam, Ramanuj Foundation. So Jessica, I want you to answer this, all right? You know me from a long time, isn't it? Many years? Yeah. You think I would have recorded the conversation first with Spanners and his wife, and then second, and the 2 meetings with Yogi Naya? Definitely. Yes. Because a recording is legal if there is a transaction that's taking place which for some reason cannot be put on paper, provided this recording is not a third person recording. It is a recording with my interest in it. It is a recording of my interest in it. So Vasudeva or Nurvasan Pillai has recorded these recordings. Yogi Naya's recording, the mother, Yogi Naya also swore on the grandfather, took a note on the grandfather that don't worry, Guru, this property will be transferred on. Spanners Naya took me to Yogi while she was in hospital. And the last day that she was alive, whilst in hospital, I showed her that this ashram has been inaugurated. I showed her videos. I showed her Mataji singing, and she was quite shocked that Mataji, being a Hindi, could sing Siva Peru so well. And she made me rewind it a few times. Myself, Spanners, and her husband was seated there. And on her deathbed, she said, Guru, don't worry. When I come out, this matter should be concluded, which is with my lawyers. I read the Om Namo Narayan mantra in her ear. Before she passed away. before she passed. We were officially invited. Myself, Dana, Boya, Mataji, and Strini, together with the devotees, to perform the 16 days of Yogi Nayas, or to be in attendance. To be in attendance. I gave a talk on the tribute, paying tribute to Yogi Naya, to the entire family. How many times, Dana? Practically every day. All our cousins were present. Everyone was present. And I paid tribute to Yogi Naya, donating this property to Ashram. Okay? What happened subsequently? 2018, December, Spanish brought in 3 goats and he threw them into the Goshala. The Goshala is a sanctified place of worship. I found him and asked him, why did you put the goats? I was not living here at that point in time. I asked him, why did you put the goats in the Goshala? And he stated that he is going to India. I must just take care of them. As soon as he comes, this place was not fenced, it was still open. There was nothing, just a Goshala. And this building was still dilapidated. It only had new windows now. All right? 2018 December. The donor of the Go Matas phoned me and he asked me, Acharya ji, why are these goats headbutting the Go-Matas? And I had to drive down here from Westville, and the only place I had available for the goats was that room next door. I phoned Spanish again, and he said, please make a plan, I'll be here after I go to India, and I'll sort it out. When he came back from India, I begged him, and everyone knows Spanish. Yeah, when he comes to this satsang, he has his own audience with the devotees, doesn't he? And what does he talk about, Boya? What's his talk? What is done? What is done?
Whatever he did.
Whatever he did. And how rich he? He's very rich, Dana? Multi-millionaire. He takes all the devotees one side and he'll tell them how many millions he have, how many millions his children have. His wife and children are the best in the world. His wife and children are the best in the world. Whatever business they do, they are the greatest. And he is a multi-millionaire. But I begged him for 1 year to provide a shelter for his animals. Hemita, are you an animal lover? Hemita is an animal lover. She can do anything for animals, alright? If you love animals, Kimlan, what must be your association with the animals? Look at Kimlan. How long you here? 3rd week. In 3 weeks, Kimlan has brought 2 sets of pure fruits and vegetables, grade A fruits and vegetables for who? Animals. Are you all hearing? He's only here 3 weeks. Grade A. These are not his animals. The bananas were so beautiful, Kimlan, that I have to admit that very little went today. Alright? And we
Dana and I snuck a few too.
Hemita stole a few.
For the
Dana stole a
for
few.
the animals.
Cameraman here, Charles, was having banana and butter bread for breakfast before going to work. Him and the Guru was having banana and milk in the kuti in between meals. Alright? Spanners bring thrown vegetable, and he only started this 3 months ago now, Amita? Less than 3 months. He brings thrown what a fruit and veg cannot use, and he dumps it here and he goes away. He has not petted, touched or called these animals from the day I have seen him. He has a perverted obsession for acquiring animals. I think his obsession only lasts in the acquisition of the animals. Okay? So he dumped 3 goats here, and then a van drove down again and he put another 3 goats, 6 goats into a 3x3 room. And you know his arrogance. You know how arrogant he is, you cannot talk to him. I'm telling him, Spanners, this is an ashram. Besides this being an ashram, it is a sin to keep animals in this position. Please provide facilities. And we explained to him that for us to bring these 2 Gomatas here, these 2 Gomatas, it cost us 60,000 rand to build a Goshala. How much? 60,000 rand to build a Goshala. 20,000 came from devotees. The rest came from us, the Guru, and his family. 40,000 and Vasan. Only 20,000 came from devotees. Just to house 2 Gomatas, we spent 60,000 rand. We brought down from the Department of Agriculture a senior member, and he verified that these living conditions can sustain the 2 Gomatas with the dimensions. Okay? And look at him. He says he loves animals from the age of 5. He brings animals and he dumps them on the site. Then in June last year, our kitchen was there in a corner, Shanti, where you used to cook all the ashram food. Our kitchen was there in the back. I had to remove the ashram kitchen because he brought ducks, geese and turkeys and chicken, and he threw them in the outbuilding. And a week later, at 5 in the morning, I heard a whole lot of barking. I heard dogs barking and barking. And I got up, I came, I opened the door, I saw a dog running out. And when I walked out, I saw a massacre. Half of these poultries were massacred by 3 dogs. And I'm a former policeman. I saw death every day. But that was different. It was through shooting, accidents, it was part of my job. In my own ashram. And rabbits. I reported this to Spanners. No remorse. No sorry, Guru. He wants to shoot these dogs. His only response was that we must kill these dogs. And these are his animals. These animals are from his property in Spencer Road. Because his son wants to put a building in Spencer Road, then he's dumping these animals on this site. Then in December, this man walked all over me, Jessica. If when I was not a guru, Jessica, you think this man could have walked over me? You think this man could have walked over me? You all heard of the Pagat leader here in KZN? How many of you heard of him? You heard of him? I don't want to mention his name. You all heard of him? He used to walk in courts. He used to walk in police stations. He used to search policemen. When he used to walk in the court, the judge should get up and leave. Pagat leader in KZN. I told him, if you don't stop, I'm going to put you in jail. And he said, you. He said, you. I said, yes. I will put you in jail. I was the secretary of his organization, of which he was the president, National United People's Organization of South Africa. NUPO, you remember, Jessica? Yeah. And I warned him. And he never heed my warning. I went 10 years to court. How many years? 10 years. I walked out of a political limelight, Jessica. NUPO was happening. If I'm in the organization, it has to be happening, isn't it? Yes. I left the glory of society or societal status and I locked this man up. I went 10 years. Jessica will tell you, those people that I assisted turned against me and I was alone. When I used to go to court, I went myself. But I made sure this man sent his biggest people to me. They opened suitcases. They opened suitcases with cash. You think I took a cent? So that's who I was. And this idiot walked over me because I had to balance the dignity of his dead daughter. It's not even 1 year yet. I had to balance the dignity of his dead daughter, the dignity of his parents, and the ashram, and my devotees. Do you understand in what a position I was? Because we already have spent over R1 million in this place. All of you understand why my hands were tied until I couldn't manage anymore. And in December, when I couldn't manage anymore, I told him, Spanners, you won't be bringing any more animals to this. On December 26th, he landed on this land. My devotee Chris, you all know Chris. Can you see the dignity in him? Without talking to him, can you see his dignity? Can you see his character? Timlin, look at Chris. What you see in him? Can you see him as a dignified? You know who's Chris? Can you see him as a dignified person? He don't have to talk to you. Spanish started swearing him in the presence of my devotees. Yes, Hemita here. She's a doctor. She's not an ordinary maid from the street. She has status, she has dignity in her presence. He's swearing Chris F and B's. Look at Dana. Dana is a Swami. He's 68 years old. Dana's brought his son for an interview to see the Guru for the very first day. You was here, Pops? Pops was here. Dana brought his son to meet the Guru for the very first time from Cape Town. From Cape Town. His son is sitting here impressing the son what a great man his father is. And we hear this noise, we terminate the meeting, and when we go out, and Spanish is swearing right outside here, Jessica, outside this door, F and B's, outside my ashram. And when we went outside, Dana is a former policeman. And if Dana just looked hard, Spanish would have fell quite a few times. But Dana pacified him, touched him and told him, Spanish, please forgive Chris. He told Dana, what he told you, Dana? He's telling Dana bring Springtown gangsters for him. And he started abusing Dana in front of Dana's son who was a visitor here. Can you imagine that feeling of the son? There's the father, such an old man, his father being abused by Spanish. How you think that son felt? What type of a man will do that? Jessica, what type of a man will lose it in an ashram? And you know what his excuse was? Chris didn't greet him. What type of a man swears in an ashram? What type of a man swears in front of the Guru? What type of a man swears Swamis?
No thinking power.
No?
Thinking power.
Then he told Chris, this is my property, not your boss's. Next day, previous to that, he told me he wants to bring a donkey on site. Now, all these animals are inside here. See the outbuilding? Lemita, you must send all these photographs. And you know all these animal abuse groups you are in. Let them know who this man is. Let them know who this man is and what he is doing to animals. He brings a huge donkey and he puts them into the outbuilding. They crushed 3 poultry to death. I'm going to read to you. Saturday, December 28, 2019. Narayan Spanners, please provide shelter for the animals. The donkey has killed a geese and injured a turkey. I will provide all the building material. Please provide the labor. Please treat this as urgent because I don't want any more animals to be killed. This is a legal SMS, is it not? Then, on the same day, the donkey killed another turkey and broke the legs of one of the geese, leaving geese and turkeys outside. Have all material to construct suitable homes for all these animals. Please provide labor. Ask Chris to put down turkey. And then, whilst I'm on SMSs, February 11th, Narayan Spanners, please do not bring any more animals on the ashram site as it is a sin for me. This situation with the animals have made me very ill. That is why I am not in contact with you so that I may heal. I don't have any more capacity to take care of your animals. Can you see? We did a calculation of the cost of taking care of spanners, nayas, animals. It is in the excess of 50,000 rand. In the excess of 50,000 rand, the cost of this property. Because notwithstanding who he is, all animals on this property must be treated equally. Whatever the go matas eat, the donkeys eat, and the chickens eat. We buy proper grains for the go matas. These grains are eaten by all these animals. Sita, how many days a week you bring food for the animals? Sita brings food 7 days a week for these animals. These animals are well fed and healthy. Alright? One of the devotees spent money to build the enclosure which cost over 10,000 rand for Spanners animals. Yet Spanners is a multi-millionaire. His 2 sons are multi-millionaires. And I begged him. I provided the shelter. You saw, I said, please provide labor. You all saw me begging there. He comes right up till recently until we stopped him. He just dumps the food here and he's gone. What type of a animal lover are you? And what type of a multi-millionaire are you when you can't feed your own animals? What obsession do you have with these animals? What obsession do you have? So when after we made the enclosure, then he tells me he wants to bring another donkey. And I told him, no, you can't bring another donkey. And the next Sunday, he brings another donkey and he dumps the donkey on this property. Is this a normal man? Is this man normal? For him to be continuously perpetuating animal cruelty, you think he should be taught a lesson? You think he should be taught a lesson? There is no agreement between me and Spanners that I must have an ashram and keep an animal on the side. I just thought this man was passionate about a few animals and he will take care of his animals. Because Mataji and I always had between 10 and 15 cats. We loved cats. Our house was full of cats. All the cats loved us, and we loved the cats. And if we go back on Facebook, because Facebook is our Vedas, I think, you'll see in Mataji's birthday, we only invited our cats. Because family not worth it. We only invited our cats. And we bought them ice cream, and they all knew it was Mataji's birthday. And they sat on our coffee table. Well, one had to sit here a whole day if I'm there. Alright? And we loved our cats. We loved. They knew at about 7:30 they all must walk out. And in the morning when I opened my door, my beautiful cats are waiting. And before doing anything, cat more. Cat, best food. There were times Mataji, myself, and my 2 sons, we had butter bread. But what do you think my cats had? Cat, more. Alright? And on those times they made sure they eat double the amount. Instead of thinking that the boss got no money, they would eat and finish the food early. Alright? You understand? So I expected this type of passion, because I know all animal lovers. They might hate other humans, they might have bad characteristics, but when it came to animals, their love would be 100%. I knew this. It's a normal thing in society if you're an animal lover. This is the first perversion I've seen, an obsession. Jessica used the word obsession. This is the first perversion and obsession I see, where a person, now he walks on walking sticks, isn't? Those animals are lodged right in the back. Are they not? I'm giving a clue to his attorney. I'm giving a clue to his attorney. Alright? I'm going to tell you why just now. What relationship does he have with the animals? This property is in an urban area. You cannot have cattle in an urban area. Only the 2 Gomatas are allowed here because we have permission for them. We have a vet, the municipality, and we have the provincial Department of Agriculture that visits our Gomata. Okay? No other animal, cattle is allowed on this premises. He brought in a beautiful goat, a beautiful brown goat. How many of you remember that brown goat running in here? You all remember? That was a pet, somebody's pet. He brought that pet and he lodged into here, and the dogs tore it apart.
And she was pregnant as well.
And she was pregnant. Again, I cried, Mataji cried, Chris cried, Charles cried. This man, stone-hearted, no compassion, no sorry guru, absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Alright? Jessica, you think this man can sue me for defamation of character? This is a public. This ashram is a public entity, and I'll tell you why you can't sue me, Jessica. And this is not a political diplomacy, Jessica. This is a real thing. This is the... So, God gave me a good legal team, Jessica. Lord Narayan sent his pure devotees, like Jessica landed here. No communication at all. All I knew, she was still in the ship. I see her here, alright? So, we have an attorney who is a devotee of Lord Narayan, and we have an advocate who is a devotee of Lord Narayan, and they are offering their services to make sure that this ashram is intact. This ashram is intact. So we sent him a letter restraining him from entering this property because of his harassment. So I missed out one part. So I stopped my communication with him after that swearing. Because I'm a guru, I have to maintain ethics, isn't? And he kept pestering us for our book of life. Now he wants to take our book of life, and he is stating that the property is about to be transferred onto our name. Property is about to be transferred. Okay. Chris, did Spanners ask you to come and ask me for my book of life and Mrs. Book of Life? ID? Spanners? Spanners, didn't he tell you to go ask boss when he give ID copy? ID copy, he asked you? Charles, did he ask you?
Yes.
So whenever Spanish came, I didn't go out. He would ask Chris to ask the boss for his ID copy and ID copy of Mrs. Charles. What he asked you?
For your ID as well. We wanted your ID, certified copy.
Certified copy of my ID. Because this title deed now is in his possession, and it is only a matter of the attorney transferring it onto our names. All right? So he's been harassing us for our IDs, which we did not give him. But Jessica, we did a legal search. Did we do a legal search?
Yes, we did.
What did you find?
Nothing has been transferred. There's no estate
No estate
being
being wound. Original title deed still with the original owner. In September last year, Spanners asked me to give him a costing, how much I spent on this property. And in September it was 1 million. In September it was about just over $1 million. In September last year, and I asked him why Spanners. He said we have the title deed in our possession. We have the title deed. My secretary had to fly down. Our Secretary General lives in Joburg. He had an interview with Mrs. Nair. Mrs. Nair confirmed that the title deed is with the attorney. The secretary wanted to know what cost it will be to the ashram for the transfer. And Yogi Nair's mother stated that Yogi Nair has a trust fund, and Yogi has indicated in the will that all the money for this property must come from the trust fund, and the Acharya Shyam Ramanuj Foundation will pay nothing. And this was this year in January. When? January. And who has stated this? Both Mr. and Mrs. Spanners has stated that the money is there. I'm going to read a response from Spanners' attorney, and then we will now give a few judgments ourselves. I want you all to be judges. Okay? You all want to be judges? You all were not going to get Kimlin? You ever dreamt of being a high court judge? Here's your opportunity. All right? Leave your brother with his dentistry. I don't want to trouble him too much, because now I'm 57. I'll have a lot of toothaches. And when I sit on that, very quickly, who knows Shiraz Arcade? From the old time, you all won't know it. Kimlin, you won't know Shiraz? Victoria Street? You remember Shiraz Arcade? Huh? Opposite Shiraz Arcade, upstairs, dentist, Mr. Motala. Remember Jessica? Yeah, I was in the police force, medical aid. Medical aid. And I just came back from a counterinsurgency training at Malias Corp. So I was allowed to dress up in camouflage. And those years, we were the real deal, Jessica. When we wore camouflage, your knees will knock. You'll know this is a real military man. Okay? So I went dressed in my camouflage with my Beretta 15 shooter, one in around 16. Alright? On my side, and I had a toothache, and I went and sat. This is for you, Bhai. And you know, Mr. Motala was very busy. Dr. Motala was very, very busy. So he had about 6 or 7 of these attendants. And they came, they set me up, they brought down their frightening apparatus with all those needles. These 2 girls, I want you all to block your ear. This is a very bad part the Guru is talking about himself. I don't want you all to think bad of your Guru. Alright? The Guru is Superman, that's all you all need to know. This man poked me and it was painful. And I think somewhere along the line the anesthetic didn't work. And I had my 2 friends, one of them would be coming to Satsang. One of the days he's in hospital. Unfortunately, I had a sense that something is wrong with him. And I traced him, Jessica, from last week Sunday, and I find him in hospital. He has cancer. He will be here and we will sort his cancer out, no problem. He will be here. He was downstairs. Alright? He heard me screaming, and Victoria Street is how busy. I kicked the dish and all this man's apparatus. Alright? And I escaped from this place. I escaped. So I won't be visiting you. I've never been to the dentist again. Amita knows. Mataji is here, I think. Mataji is here. Chris? Mrs. is here? Not yet. Huh? Oh, Shyam is here. Okay. She said she's on her way, so just gate is open. Open the gate. Alright. So anyway, I stick the pain for 3-4 days, 5 days, rub salt, take all types of things. Right? I think there's a tablet I get from the pharmacy. It helps me, right? I've never been to a dentist again. Coming back now, are you happy? Yeah, that's why I don't want these little girls to hear this story, you know. Very embarrassing. They're going to spend many years with the Guru. And a Guru can't extract a tooth.
You didn't want me to test your glucose even.
You know, I had 2 attacks last year. And I refused to move. I refused to go to the hospital. So I lied to them that I can't go to Addington. Then they got intelligent and they pulled up the money and they said, we'll send you to a private hospital. Then I said, this lie didn't work. You know? I'm a little slow on this. Kimlen, you don't mind, I just want to complete this thing properly. Alright, then I'm going to send this to his entire family. This discourse, I want to send to his entire family and to him. That this asks Vishwadhar, is the buzzing of the fan?
I don't think he's on.
Huh?
I don't think he's on.
He has to be on because he's...
It's not coming up. Maybe it is on.
Okay. So this is the response his attorney gives our attorney. Okay. R.E. Acharya Shyam Ramanuj Foundation, 28 Dunstaple Crescent, Reservoir Hills. Further to the above matter, we act for Mr. Atmanathan Parmasivan Nair, and we are also administering the estate of the late Yogavati Nair. The nominated executor for the estate is Cynthia Rachel Nair, which I assume to be Spanish wife. Alright? The letter dated 4th March 2020 addressed to Mr. Nair has been handed to us for reply. The contents of your letter are vehemently denied. There was no donation to your client. I want you to hear. There was no donation to your client, and neither was there a misrepresentation. There was also no harassment to your client. We are liaising with the executor of the estate with which our client concluded a purchase and sale agreement to effect the transfer, and due to delays in the transfer, we will be approaching the High Court shortly for an order to effect the agreement. All our client, who's the client? Spanish. All our client is aware that a certain Mr. Singh was allowed to live on the property as he was without accommodation. And he has been living on the property at the will of the late Yogavati Nair when she was alive. At the moment, he is still in occupation of the property. The executor of the estate of late Yogavati Nair requires Mr. Singh to vacate the property in view of his assertions. There are presently various animals on the premises, namely 2 donkeys, 8 miniature goats, turkeys, chicken, and 2 cows. Alright? You think you want to try and swindle my cows now? I have certificates for these cows, Jessica. These cows can't be swindled. Go-matas, yes. These animals need to be attended by Mr. Nair. He obtains food twice weekly for the animals, and he requires to attend on the premises to feed the animals. He has never fed these animals one day in his life. However, our client is being denied access to property and unable to feed the never-fed animal by him. Your client has no right to deny him access, Jessica. Any infringement of our client's rights will result in a court action, and your client will incur cost. Your client will incur cost. Okay? So what is he saying? What is he saying? I want all of you all to watch this. Turn it around, boy, without...
It's okay, I'll do it.
Kimlin, you going to help?
He's just going to hold the camera.
Okay. Don't touch anything, Kimlin.
I'll just hold this.
Okay, let's see what Mr. Spanners is saying now. Let's understand what him and his wife lied to the attorney. What did they lie to the attorney?
About the donation.
Sorry?
About the donation.
There's no donation.
That the land was transferred, the title deeds were in their hands.
Yeah. No, what he lied to this new attorney. So conveniently now, the brother, the son, Spanner's son, Casey Nair was the executor of this estate originally. The attorney, from what I knew from Yogi and Spanners, was a white man, was a white attorney. This attorney was originally engaged for the transfer of the property in terms of the original sales and purchase agreement to the Acharya Shyam Ramanuj Foundation. That attorney has disappeared conveniently because you can't go to that attorney what Yogi engaged. Why? Because he knows Yogi engaged this attorney on behalf of the Acharya Shyam Ramanuj Foundation. He can't, his son disappeared. Why? Because he was the executor of the estate when that attorney was purported to be winding up that estate. Okay? And we already, there is communication between Acharya Shyam Ramanuj Foundation and that executor. So they changed the executor. Now the mom and dad is trying to swindle the donation of the late daughter. And Jessica is saying other things that may be in the will. The mom and dad of the late Yogi Nair is trying to swindle the donation of the late daughter, and it is not even 1 year yet. What type of people will lie like this? What characteristic of human beings? Which multi-millionaire family will risk their reputations by trying to steal an ashram? Basically what he wants to do, or what they, because they are both implicated in this letter, they want to steal this ashram and make it into a student accommodation for the university students on top, because he told me indirectly, and he told Vishwadhar Ramanuj Das indirectly, that now it is 3,000 rand per head per student. Easy now to partition this place and make it a student accommodation. Look at the greed. Look at the greed. And these people are in the mid-60s. They just lost a daughter. And the daughter cried on a deathbed one day before she left her body. The soul left her body. And she viewed, I think, in her illness, she came alive when she saw Mataji singing in the ashram that she donated. I was going to put porcelain tiles on this floor. I was going to put porcelain tiles on the floor. Yogi wanted this wooden floor. Who wanted this wooden floor? Yogi Nair. She gave me half. We had to buy the other half. She gave me half. I went and picked it up from a house. And that is why we have these wooden floors here today. And I showed her the wooden floors on Facebook. I showed her the videos and I said, look at your wooden floors, Yogi. And he was seated right there. How can he steal his daughter's last wish? You know what? People in clear state are not shocked. People in clear state are not shocked. Why won't they be shocked? Because they know there is a character. People in clear state are not shocked. Okay? So, a part I missed out before we go there, Nita, is when I eventually met him, he told me, Guru, come and sit in my van. I sat with him. And he said, Guru, why must Vasan be on the Acharya Shyam Ramanuj Foundation? Why must Yatin be on the Acharya Shyam Ramanuj Foundation? Why must Dhana be on the Acharya Shyam Ramanuj Foundation? My daughter donated this property. Why can't her husband be on the Acharya Shyam Ramanuj Foundation? And I said, never. He said, what do you mean never? I said, who the hell are you to give me directives on who should be on my foundation or not? He said, I want my son-in-law and the two daughters to be on the Acharya Shyam Ramanuj Foundation. And when I refused him, he started poking me. He said, hey, ex-policeman, what you gonna do? So I told him, Spanners, I won't even defend myself against you because you are a crippled man. I am a fit man. You're a crippled man. I won't defend myself against you. And when I said that, he caught me by my neck and he started screaming, I'll kill you, I'll kill you. And he started choking me. And I was dressed like this. I was dressed in my guru attire. And Mataji ran out, she witnessed this, and Lizwe, my builder, witnessed this. Alright? So I have opened a case of assault which suddenly disappeared. But nothing can disappear because tomorrow I will be back there and I'll make sure this man gets prosecuted so that other men learn in this world. Don't touch a guru. Okay? He's already disabled. He can't walk. Now what you think might happen to the hand that attempted to choke the guru? You understand? But people, Jessica, how long you in the Justice Department? 31 years. Sometimes you can't take the criminal element out. It doesn't matter at what age. So he thinks, Jessica, that I've been avoiding him because I am afraid of him. I've been avoiding him because I'm afraid what can happen to him. I'm afraid what can happen to him. And Boya, Dhana, what's his famous lines? He is connected to the notorious underworld. He is connected to the notorious underworld, and one phone call to them and we will be flattened. Anyone will be put away. He had 2 one-hour conversations with Yatin Soni. And in both, I told Yatin to tape the conversations. And in both the conversations, he has threatened my life and Yatin's life in Durban. So if anything has to happen to this ashram, and if anything has to happen to any of our members, that recording will be used to source him and his cronies. Okay? So, those of you that are new, you're only hearing a name. And after I read this letter, you only heard my version of the story, isn't it? I used the date, 13 February. These people, if according to this letter, then they hardly know me, isn't it? Issue number 2. According to this letter, this husband and wife hardly know me. All they know is that there is a certain Mr. Singh, which their daughter allowed to live on the premises, who was on the streets. If somebody has no accommodation, what it means? Who was on the homeless. Kimlan, you understand it? If you interpret, all right? So a homeless person, the daughter found a homeless person and gave him home. That is what Mr. and Mrs. Nair understand. They don't know this man. Other than that, he is a homeless person being accommodated by the late daughter, and they have asked this homeless man now to become homeless again. Isn't it? Yeah, we're going to discuss that after lunch. We're having another session. Long satsang today. Okay, Amita. Show everybody, and I want Facebook cameras to also view this. Okay, go and sit there. Let the world see now how ruthless and cunning these parents are in trying to swindle this property from me.
Which video do you want to play first?
The
first one we
on the third. So these people won't know me. If you see them intimately involved with me, then what would it mean? I think come way closer. You'll bring yours.
Everyone can just stand and watch. Yeah, just stand.
Okay. Come and watch this. I want you to see how these people, elderly people, supposed to be rich multimillionaires, come and see what. If I was a
Acharya,
Jessica.
I think you as well, so you can just direct me with the videos.
Jessica, if I did not have all my experience in life, how easily, if I was one of these other gurus, we could have lost this property. All right?
Okay, this is the first one you shared this morning.
Yeah, okay.
You ready?
Yeah, watch here. This can be verified to be on the this first video is the first day I met Spanish on Mahashivratri on the 13th of February. All right? No, sorry, this is the day this is the second week when he told her, when he admitted to the hall that the donation, he initiated the donation. You was here, Dana? Okay. Now this is Spanner's wife. Watch here. Can you see Spanner's wife? Come here, Chris. Stand and watch. Can you see Spanner's on his crutches? What is he doing? He's bowing down. Who is he bowing down to? Is it me? Same Mr. Singh. Dana? Same Mr. Singh. That he doesn't know now. Last week I spoke about amnesia in my discourse. This is an amnesia within an amnesia. You agree, Kipling? Who is blessing his back? Who? Same man from the street who got no accommodation. Now who is bowing down to the Guru? His wife bowed down to the Guru, but she doesn't know that this is a Guru. She believes her daughter just accommodated this person because he was on the street. But did you see her bowing down? All of you also? Okay, go next video. Rishi too? You never knew satsangs could be so interesting.
This one here, Acharya?
Yeah. Okay. All of you all look here. This is the first day I met Spanish when he gave me the property. Can you all see? Can you see him there? Can you see his two brothers? See there next to him, two brothers. One of his brothers is garlanding me. Can you see? Can you see one of his brothers garlanding me? Did I start walking?
Yeah.
Where am I? Coming upstairs?
Still at the walking up.
Okay. Who's walking with the Guru?
Spanish and his brothers.
Who's walking alongside the Guru now?
Spanish.
Can you see Spanish? Can you see him walking with the Guru on Mahashivratri? Boya, you enjoying this?
It surprises me how close truly he has been with you.
Yeah. Look here, look here, look here, look here, and look at the lawyer's letter. Right. Everyone saw?
He's only been watching.
Huh?
He's only been
He's holding the same man who he wants to kick out now. Okay. Kamita, go to your opening of the Goshala.
The pictures.
Yeah, go to pictures. I'm just doing this for those that's not on Facebook. Those that's on Facebook, you're going to get a comprehensive package. This discourse is going around the world in over 100 groups. Because that's where this satsang is. That's where the Sri Narayan Dham is. We're an international satsang. Okay. What can you see here, all of you? Look at his face.
It's crime.
He's crying. This is on the 27th of May when we opened the Goshala. And the reason we asked him to cut the ribbon, he is with Mr. Amit Bhai. Alright? He is with Mr. Amit Bhai. When he cut the ribbon, look at how he's crying. What did he cut the ribbon of?
The Goshala.
The Goshala. I got this place on the 13th of February. We opened the Goshala on the 27th of May. At this point in time, just get some old photographs of this house.
You want to see the rest of the Goshala pictures?
No. Go to the house. People are hungry now.
Okay, 1 second.
Rishi, keep bringing the sand. Don't worry, this ashram is going nowhere. Yeah, okay, that's a good one. Can you see this house, everyone? Can you see the condition of this house? This is from the back now, this view. This is this view. Jay, this is where you're watching from the car park. This is in May somewhere, all right? And all these are posted in Facebook, all right? Look at this condition of the house. What can you see here?
There's no windows.
No windows. No windows. See if you can find any more pictures. Okay, now you can see windows. All right. Carry on. Now can you see? No windows. At which point Yogi gave me accommodation? Now I want you to think now. At which point you think she found me in the streets and she gave me accommodation, because this was a dilapidated house. It had no windows, it had no doors, it had no toilets. it had no plumbing, it had no electricity, it had no roof. It was just a shell with 20 black people inside this house in that dilapidated state. At which point could his daughter have given me accommodation? Because the first day I walked here, this place was a dilapidated place, and we started taking photographs. And we started sending it on timeline in Facebook. Jessica, you don't want to watch this show? Oh, you're watching it?
Yeah.
So at which point now you think his daughter could have given me accommodation? I have receipts, I have hardwares, I have money deposited into all the suppliers, the lights, the plumbers, everything that has been done here. Half the things that I did here, Spanners knew the suppliers and he introduced me to them. The tiling came from Mal Tiles, Spanners connection. He will sit there, he will introduce me to the person, and my secretary will EFT the money into that account. So at which point in time could his daughter have accommodated me if I had no accommodation? So which story is true? Which story is true? That she donated the place or she gave me accommodation? Can the accommodation story ever fit here? Does the donation story fit here? Why would I build an ashram convert a dilapidated house to an ashram? Why will I do that? Jay?
No reason.
Unless it is donated to me. If nobody wanted this property for free, then only would I do a thing. If I was secure that if I ever had to fight for this land, I will win, then only would I have invested over R1 million. This property development, part of the money belongs to the public. Part of the money belongs to the public. Dana? I want somebody to go and take out a photograph of my Jaguar. We got one, I want today. This man took my Jaguar, which was worth 100,000 rand, for this transaction that he initiated. What he took? Can a Jaguar owner be sleeping on the street and come and live in a dilapidated house? Yes, that condition of the house, people can live in it. 20 black people were living in it. But I'm a guru from 2013. I was living in Westville. Directly from Westville I came here, and I only came to live here on the 30th of March 2019. 1 year, 1 month after the donation of the property. I developed this property together with funds from devotees and members of the public. So in effect, is this fraudulent misrepresentation by Mr. Spanners Nair? Jessica? It is fraud? It's perjury? It's fraud? I'm going to ask my legal team now to find whatever cases we can find, like what I did to that Pagat leader. 12 cases we had against him, Jessica? 12. Okay? So now, whatever crimes, because by misrepresenting this place to me, by lying to me that he got the title deed, by lying to me that the estate has been wound, by lying initially in the beginning. Look at how cunning he is. He knows his daughter is late. She can't come from the grave and say, Acharya ji, I donated this to you. Can you see the cunning, Boya? Can you see the cunningness? But you think that Yogi, the grandfather and the grandmother, you think they're not going to assist in making sure that this ashram is maintained? They will. They will. Together. Look, this is an ashram. This ashram was inaugurated on the 5th of May. In Yogi's lifetime. Yogi gave me this donation to build an ashram. On her deathbed, she saw the ashram completed and she saw the inauguration done. What does inauguration mean? Official. This is an official ashram. We had a priest come down from South India who met Spaniards in September, and Spaniards told him that you can come and do the inauguration. Our family commitment is rock solid. This Guru is going to come down from India and verify in any court that Spaniards told him that this land was donated by his daughter. There is another Guru who was here in June last year. A few days after Spaniard's daughter passed away. And Spaniards came and met him in my kutir. And he also told that Guru, who is also going to come to South Africa, if need be, that this land was donated by his daughter. So to sum up now, right, it is very clear that the mum and dad of Yogi Nair want to swindle this Sri Narayan Dham from us and convert it into a business. And we are not going to let that happen, because this ashram has been inaugurated. We have instilled life in the deities. And if the Guru has to die, the Guru will die, but I'll never move from this premises. Jessica, this time around I'm not walking away. I walked away from situations like this and given that person the benefit of doubt. But this time around, I am not the owner of this premises. Lord Narayan is the owner of this premises. I'm not going to run away. Remember, Ravana, he attacked Lord Ram. He never made it in the end. But life was hard. Hiranyakasipu attacked Prahlad Maharaj. His life was hard. He tried to kill him, but in the end, he could never do it. And I am going to make sure that this Sri Narayan Dham remains here. Okay, are there any questions? Are you all satisfied that this man is a swindler? Him and his wife is trying to swindle the Sri Narayan Dham. How much guts must you have, Boya, to steal an ashram? You stole your whole life. Now you come into the end of your life, you want to steal an ashram. Let's see. This proceedings I'm not going to do on a week by week basis. I don't want to give too much airtime on my airtime. But there will be a consistent report. Alright? But remember, snakes, they find a way to weave. Alright? So let's see what's the next correspondence from his attorney. This is my response to his attorney. This is our response to his attorney. Let's see how much more can they lie. You think there's any lies? You think I need to provide any more evidence? Kimlan, you're the judge. Case in favor of who?
Guru.
Case in favor of?
Guru.
Rishi 1, Rishi 2,
Guru.
Chris, who win?
Guru win.
Hey, Chris said boss win too. Alright, see how many judges? Please do not go back home and start judging your family, judging the community. This judging is over now in this satsang. Jai Sriman Narayan.
Yes,